Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this installment of Contractors Conversation. Yes, because I said I was recording this episode for my podcast. I am your host, Luciana Turner. I'm going to give everybody time to get in the room. And actually, I need to go live on my other platform real quick. Oops. Bear with me real quick. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? And I just have all these notices going off like crazy over here. Hi, everyone. There we go. Sorry, I'm just using multiple devices, and I was busy reading and notice on the Federal Register, and quite frankly, I lost track of time because I was going to bring that to you this morning, and I couldn't get all the information together in a timely manner. So I'm going to have to bring that to you next week. But welcome, welcome, welcome. I am your host, Luciana Turner, bringing you today's installment of Contractors Conversation. Yes, instead of chatter, I'm doing Contractors Conversation. Now, Contractors Conversation actually started on Facebook. It was um, it was just random. It was where I would come on and I would share my contracting journey. I would bring on some of my what I call power partners, and we just would discuss some of the behind the scenes of government contracting, doing business, um, some of the pitfalls, ups and downs. And then it kind of morphed into some special editions. We would discuss the state of government contracting uh, as it exists. And then I decided to turn it into a podcast, which is currently streaming live on Spotify, um, Google Podcasts, and it's on several platforms, but it's on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and some other places. I have several episodes up. Currently, we're on episode 10, and we're talking about leadership and government contracting. I actually pulled out an old interview I performed with a friend of mine where we talked about leadership and government contracting. She's an amazing, amazing leadership coach, but she is also a contracting officer for a government agency. So she spoke about leadership from two perspectives: from the perspective as a coach and the perspective of what she's looking for when she's doing business with contractors as a government representative of government agencies. So that was very powerful and impactful. In fact, I'm going to post part 2 of that interview, I believe today. I talked to another coach where we kind of deep dive about some behind the scenes of what it looks like to be in business. You know, people always yelling, start your own business, start your own business. It's not for the faint of heart. Starting your own business is not for everybody. And I truly wish people would stop telling everyone to start a business. It's not for everybody. It isn't. And it's okay if you don't want to start a business. Don't allow people to pressure you into it. And then there are so many people who are starting businesses that shouldn't because they're not starting them correctly. They're not putting in the proper foundations. They're not, oh my goodness, I just lost my Instagram live. They're not putting in the proper foundations. They're not putting in they're not doing the work. They're not filing their taxes, which is a big no-no. It's just a multitude of things that they're doing incorrectly that's going to lead them to heartache and pain. And it's nothing worse than, I'm back live on Instagram, it's nothing worse than taking the time to build a business and then you lose it all because you don't do the proper framework. It's devastating. So there's a lot more to starting a business than just selling something. I mean, a lot of people say, yeah, it's easy to start a business. You start a business with no money, just sell something. It's a little more nuanced than that. I mean, true, you can just go out and sell something, call yourself a business owner until tax times comes, until you want your business recognized by the government, until you want to buy something, until you want to do all of the things that you just until you want to do all the things that you thought you could do. And then people say, oh, well, it was easier when I had a job. It was easier when you had a job because somebody did all the other back work that you didn't see. Good morning. Good morning, Luana. So yes, so making sure those proper book work is laid out is highly, highly important. But I want to get back to the point at hand before I got slightly distracted. So as I was said when I started off, contractors conversation, then I turned into a podcast. So we talked about that behind the scenes. I did an episode on mental health and the importance of mental health. That's why I always say, and I was saying it before I did the episode, but that episode, that interview was so eye-opening to me. Stressed mind can't create. And I don't know why we live in a society where we think we can just keep pushing through and we're not going to break. We glorify struggle to the point that we're fracturing at the seams. And that's wrong. Totally wrong. You're not supposed to struggle until you're fracturing. If you're building a business and you're fracturing, that is because you're trying to do it alone and you're not supposed to. Are there people out here in these streets selling snake oil? Yeah. Is that an excuse not to invest in good, sound, wise counsel? And no, you are supposed to seek wise counsel. I know I invested in a coach and I'm sharing my personal journey. And that coach cost me $10,000. And it was $10,000 of wasted money because they did not teach me what they were supposed to teach me. It just is what it is. I would dare say that they were a snake oil salesman. And then I kicked myself in the butt because I did something in the end that I should have did in the beginning. I research. Now, I've heard of this person. Matter of fact, I heard of them when I first started my company. And they have a large community, a large following. And after I spent the money and I wasn't getting what I thought I wasn't getting what I was supposed to get. And I relooked at the documents that I received, not what I was supposed to receive, but the documents I had. And I went through the community, asked some questions. I then performed some research. That's where I found thousands of people who were saying the same thing. And then I went as far as to check the Better Business Bureau, and thousands of people, or hundreds of people, had filed complaints against this person. Does that mean I'm never hiring another coach? No. Lesson learned. I'm better at vetting. One mistake, one misstep is never a reason not to get the help that you need. I'm better at vetting my coaches now. In fact, I'm getting ready to plunk down a very large investment in another coach, in two coaches, matter of fact, because they're coaching me in two separate things. So, but I can't expect people to invest in me if I don't invest in myself. And I find it weird that people want people to invest in themselves. They want people to invest in their business, but their mindset is everybody else is a scammer but them. And it took me back to a conversation, or I was at the Congressional Black Caucus, and one of their workshops, one of the people got up to ask a question. And she prefaced her question with, everybody in my town is a scam artist. And the panel responded to her with, everybody but you. Because in their experience, people who think other people are scam artists are usually the scammers themselves. Light bulb moment. You have to be mindful if you see the devil everywhere. That's a mindset issue that you need to deal with. And I know somebody is saying, why should you keep saying mindset? Why do you keep saying mindset? I understand people overuse the word mindset. I really do. It's overused. It's almost cliche-ish. But there is definitely a mindset, the thought pattern that goes along with establishing a business of any kind. And if you don't shift it, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine because I'm thinking of investing in a different revenue stream, totally different from government contracting. And she made the statement, she's had people invest and they acted like it was supposed to sell itself. They weren't supposed to do its own work because the mindset was, I'm going to invest and somebody else was going to do the work because they were still thinking as an employee. They didn't realize this investment was for them to become an owner. They were thinking as a consumer, actually. They were just making a purchase as a consumer. There are three different mindsets. You have the consumer mindset, the employee mindset, and the owner mindset. And I would dare say there's more than three, because once you become an owner, there's different levels of mindsets within that category. So I know somebody's going to look at this live and is like, what is she talking about? I'm here to learn about government contracting tips. I'm here to learn about business tips. But if you're not willing to learn about what it takes to run a successful business in its totality, I dare say That's part of the reason why we have a 90% failure rate when it comes to business. This is part of that. The mindset, the leadership, the staying up at night, the negative bank accounts. That's the unsexy part. If you check out episode 8 of my podcast, when I talked to Coach Beverly, you know, nobody wants to talk about that. You know, we love the overcomer story, but I feel like we need to talk about the backstory so those who feel like quitting won't quit so soon. Every millionaire coach out here, except for the trust fund babies, perhaps, because we don't know their story either, has had a negative bank account at some point in time. I remember sitting in a conference and Steve Harvey shared how he went bankrupt twice. And when I said bankrupt, he was down to a couple of $1,000s. And this was after he did his TV shows. Not before, after. But this is a part of the entrepreneurial journey. I was watching Bishop Jakes talk about, and somebody asked him, the interviewer asked him the question, how do you deal with the haters? And he said he doesn't deal with the haters because they don't know his story. They never bothered about it. And I remember somebody telling me in my early days of business, because I was dealing with stuff, I'm like, I'm broke. Why am I dealing with this? And he was saying, you're experiencing stuff in your early days of business. Most people, most people don't deal with until year 10, 12 in business. He said, you're dealing with it early in your business. He said, I don't know why, but that's your journey. And it shook me because I'm sitting here, I was not even a year in business and I was dealing with some major stuff. And hearing Bishop Jakes talks about his backstory, the car with the rusted out bottom, you know, he frying chicken in the back and preaching in the front, and his bishop having to tell him he had hot sauce or ketchup on his tie. um, so when he look at people now finding fault with him, it doesn't faze him because people don't know his backstory. That's all a part of the entrepreneurial journey. People will forever find fault with something that you're doing. You have to develop the resilience, the backstory, the wherewithal to continue on anyway. Everyone wants to make it sound easy and sexy to start a business. But people don't want to share the story of the nights that they cried when they launched something and it didn't sell. I'll never forget, I launched my first class. I just knew it was going to sell out. You couldn't have told me it wasn't going to sell, and nobody bought. I cried. I mean, I literally cried, not figuratively. I literally cried because I couldn't understand why nobody bought the class. And people keep talking about this vague concept of you can't be tied to the outcome. I beg to differ. You're always tied to the outcome when your heart is in it. And I'm a heart-centered person. Anybody who knows me will tell you, if they know me, will tell you I'm a heart-centered person. I don't walk around with my heart on my sleeve, but I'm a heart-centered person. So I was devastated when nobody bought the class, and I couldn't figure out why. Because it made sense to buy the class. Nobody talks about that. All of that goes along with this entrepreneurial journey. When you get into government contracting and they make it sound like all you need to do is get a certification and somebody's going to give you something. And I am the anti-certification girl. I'm here to tell you, ain't nobody going to give you a thing because you're certified. You still need to write the proposals, answer the RFPs, have your back systems together, be able to submit, be able to convey to the government that you are the answer. Nobody is going to give you a thing because you have DBE, EWW, SOBMB behind your name. Nobody cares. And in some instances, it's a disadvantage to have it. I need you to understand in instances where companies are saying, I can't work with you because you're not certified, they're not working with you because you're not certified. They're working with you because, one, they haven't met their goals. So it has little to do with your certification and everything to do with they are under pressure to meet their goals. And two, you haven't conveyed how you are the answer, and they're just falling back on the fact that you're not certified. Because there are plenty of minority companies killing it in the contracting game that don't have a certification. Because I won my first contract and wasn't certified. I'm just saying. Now, do I have a certified government contracting company? Yes. But when I got that certification, I had a plan, I had a strategy for how to leverage it. Most people are getting certified because somebody told them. Create the strategy, then get the certification. Don't get the certification without a strategy. I sit in these meetings with people who's arguing with the government, feeling like the government need to give them the contract, then give them the money to go buy the equipment to perform on a contract. You backwards. No, you need the capability to perform all the way through. I was sitting in that meeting with that woman who argued with the government. I was mad for the government. She felt that the government should give her the contract, then give her the money to buy the equipment to perform on the contract, and then pay her for the performance. And she sat there in that meeting and argued with that man, not realizing how she made herself look. And then I'm going to go here, and I'm not one of these people who believe in you carry the weight of your race, but she made every woman, and then she made every Black woman look ridiculous making that argument, because she wasn't speaking for her, because she kept saying, we all, we think. I've talked to other business owners just like me. So she kept putting the weight of her voice on all these other people. And I'm sitting there like, you're not talking for me, because I don't feel that way. What are you doing? You're making other people look bad by association and default. Stop it. Speak for you. And there's also why there are agencies who don't want to work with small businesses because of that mindset. Small businesses have the ability to pivot on a dime, which is what makes us resilient, which makes us great to work with, because larger companies take a long time to turn. You know, it's use the visual analogy of whipping a car. It's easier to turn a car than it is to turn an 18-wheeler. Same concept. A small business can stop and turn a lot easier than a multi-conglomerate. However, that's also what makes small businesses who are not set up properly, who do not have the proper stewardship, bad to work with, because you're all over the place. Laying that foundation is critical. It's key to scaling growth and establishing yourself as the go-to. So this Today, I am setting the intention. I am setting the groundwork. What I am telling you is the importance of a proper foundation, because you can put in all the RFPs and the poor performance will kill you. You can bid on every contract. Poor performance, a bad reputation will kill you. You can make $1 million and don't file your taxes. The IRS will shut you down. Not establishing yourself, not having a business account and separating your funds, and your spouse is playing fast and loose on the back end with some stuff. Creditors can tap your account because there's no distinction there. That will cripple your business. Ensuring all of your foundation is solid is critical, is paramount, is what you need to do to be a good steward over all of your resources. That is what we're doing. That is what we're talking about. Those are the intentions that we're setting today. And for those of you who say, I need help establishing business credit, I need help creating those plans for my business and for my contracting business, I have a solution. And if you're willing to listen, I want you to join me live a little bit later today. But I've been seeding this for the longest, and that is the Contractor Intensive, October 4th, 5th, and 6th. Luciana, I'm not a government contractor. Day one is for you. That is just the business of being a business. We're talking about business credit. We're talking about finance. We're talking about budgeting. We're talking about all of that. Day one, that is just the business of being a business. Day 2 and 3 are government contracting, and is the actual government contracting intensive. Capture and development, bid rates, proposal, how to read an RFP. I'm teaching decoding the RFP on day 2 because people don't know how to read the thing. And then wondering why they losing. I'm just saying. I do have a site where you can buy tickets. You can start buying tickets. Now, if you just want to sign up for day one is $4.95. If you want to go VIP for all 3 days, VIP gets prime seating. Your registration opens at 8 a.m. every day. You get prime seating. You get your prime goodie bag. And I'm extra. So I have something planned for my VIPs. You get lunch every day, which with special training. You get extra training for lunch, during lunch, and special Q&A. You get a special masterclass before the intensive and after the intensive. That's just a little bit of what VIP gets. Now, the VIP registration is $14.95. Now, for those of you who need to break that up, there are payment options available. General admission for all 3 days is $11.95. Sorry, for $11.95, you got to deal with your own lunch. But the hotel, I haven't secured the hotel yet, where I need to sign the contract and some other stuff. There's plenty of eateries right around the hotel, so you don't have to go far. And the hotel, I might even go here. If you're a notary, every government contracting document requires notarization. I've never notarized so many documents in my life. Everything gets submitted. I'm going to go here. If you're registering for SAMS, the letter that gets sent to the government has to be notarized. So if you're a notary, there are businesses that are corollary, that run parallel to government contracting. You should be in the room for day one, if for no other reason. There are opportunities for businesses to advertise in my program book. If you just want to list your services out, insurance, notaries, all types of services. If you want to list, there's opportunities for to advertise in the book. I do have a few vendor spots, but I need to confirm with my speakers first. I do have facilitators already lined up. I will start announcing who they are shortly. I can announce two of them, and I will announce them later on today. I am one of the facilitators. um, I'm teaching 2 sessions. Um, um, it's just amazing. And I feel like those who come to the room, come in the room, you won't be disappointed. And those of you who invest in yourself will not be disappointed whatsoever. So, those of you who already know that you want to be VIP or general registration, just scan the QR code and you can go ahead and register. The official website goes up later today, and then I will go live later to do a whole nother breakdown of the contractors intensive. Share this information with other people. But there's someone else who needs to be in the room who is not catching this live. There's someone else who needs this information. You have a business bestie who wants to come. Bring them. You are as strong as the circle of influence, of your circle of influence. You shouldn't be the only person in your circle to have top tier information. I always was trying to drag somebody with me to conferences. And everywhere that I went, I was always trying to drag somebody. They didn't want to go, but that's okay. That just meant they were my non-business friends. And what you will find in this entrepreneurial journey is you have business friends and you have non-business friends. And there's business stuff you discuss with your business friends and non-business stuff you discuss with your non-business friends. And it's all okay. And since I intend to go live a little later on today, I'm going to close out Contractors Conversation with this. Your primary piece of real estate, your biggest asset is here. Your mind. You have to feed it. My mentor says you go anywhere head first. And then he says something else. You don't go as far as your dream, you go as far as your team. And your team is inclusive of your advisors, your mentors, the rooms you are in to seek knowledge. And that's a part of your external team. So with that, I will see you later on today when I do my big reveal for the intensive. A stressed mind will never create. So take care of your biggest asset. Take time for yourself. And share this live with someone else. They may need a little bit of uplifting on this business entrepreneurial journey. Even if you're just doing a side, as they call it, a side hustle. I hate that term. I'll talk about that another time. I hate the term side hustle because it demeans what you're doing. I don't care if you have a 9-to-5 and you're doing something on the side. It is still a business that you're running. And don't let anybody talk about it as like it's a side piece. That is still a business you're running. Treat it with respect. And until later, I'm Luciana Turner of the LT&A Consulting Group. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you later on.